Let me now touch upon Honorable Prime Minister's visit to Rio. The 17th BRICS Summit is taking place on 6th and 7th. Honorable Prime Minister will arrive on the 5th evening, but the main program is on the 6th. As you know, the format is very clear. There are full members, which are 10. There are about 12 partner countries. There are 8 invitee countries at the head of state, head of government level, and there are 7 heads of regional and multilateral bodies. The theme of the Rio Summit is strengthening global South cooperation for inclusive and sustainable governance. The program on the 6th includes the first agenda item is the reform of the global governance, where only the full members will participate. And thereafter, there is the second item on the agenda, the peace and security, which is in the working lunch format, where the leaders will discuss the agenda item, and all of this will be captured in the leaders' statements, which will be seen as deliverables. Post lunch, the third item on the agenda is strengthening multilateralism, economic financial affairs, and artificial intelligence. Later that evening will be an official reception. All the leaders will be participating. The next day, which is on the 7th July, the fourth item of the agenda is environment, COP30, and global health. As you are aware that Brazil will also be hosting COP30 later in the year, in November, which is why climate change and COP issues become very important. As you know, the BRICS process is led by the chair, and they set the agenda, but the decisions are in a consensus-based format. We are hopeful that there will be 4 deliverables, although discussions are continuing still at the Sherpa and the Sous-Sherpa level. The leaders' declaration, the leaders' statement on global governance and artificial intelligence, the leaders' framework declaration on climate finance, and BRICS partnership for elimination of socially determined diseases. There will also be, in addition, 4 reports that will be submitted to the leaders. One, the deliberations happened during the National Security Advisors level. The Business Council meetings that would have happened before that, the Women's Business Alliance report, and the Civil Council report. As you know, that all these discussions in the last few months across various platforms and working groups will find convergence in the declaration of the leaders, which will be endorsed by the leaders during that time. Both at the Sherpa and the Sous-Sherpa level, there have been intense discussions that have taken place. What we also notice that the Brazil's agenda more or less is encapsulating the ideas of the global South. And these are more or less in alignment with India's positions. And lastly, India will be holding the chair of the BRICS next year, and which is why, in this context, Honorable Prime Minister's visit is even more important.
Secretary Yar just mentioned about the BRICS portion of the visit to Brazil. I will try and add on to that by talking about the bilateral segment of the visit, which will be on, I'll start with Brazil, which will be on 8th of July. 6th and 7th will be the Rio segment for the BRICS Summit. As you know, Prime Minister has earlier visited Brazil on 3 occasions. The first in July 2014, followed by another visit in 2019 to attend the BRICS Summit, and in November last year to attend the G20 Summit in Rio de Janeiro. During the state visit to Brasilia, Prime Minister is scheduled to hold bilateral talks with President Lula. The program basically includes a ceremonial welcome on arrival, followed by a restricted meeting and a delegation level format talks, culminating with a lunch hosted by President Lula for Prime Minister Modi. The state visit will provide an opportunity to review the entire gamut of our partnership, including trade and investments, oil and gas, renewable energy, mining and critical minerals, defense and security, agriculture and livestock, healthcare and traditional medicine, tourism, space, science and technology, DPI, and also sports and people-to-people relations in general. Both leaders will also be discussing during their talks global issues of mutual interest. The visit will be a significant milestone in the India-Brazil strategic partnership and is envisaged to add renewed momentum to the strategic partnership which we agreed to in 2006. On the trade front, India's trade with Brazil is the largest compared to any other country in Latin America. It had reached 16.6 billion in 2022-23, and following the drop in oil and gas prices, it is now around 12.2 billion, with India enjoying a trade surplus as we export goods worth $6.7 billion to Brazil and import goods worth $5.4 billion. Both leaders have set a bilateral trade target of 20 billion during their last meeting in November 2024. During their forthcoming meeting in Brasilia, the two leaders are expected to discuss ways to strengthen and diversify bilateral trade, including through expansion of the India-Mercosur PTA, as Brazil will be holding the chairship of Mercosur from 1st July 2025. India and Brazil are strong proponents of Global South cooperation. We also collaborate closely across all global platforms, of which we both are members, including BRICS, G20, IBSA, and of course the United Nations. We also collaborate closely as members of G4, seeking comprehensive reform of the UN Security Council. We are looking at a few important bilateral MOUs and agreements, especially in renewable energy, agricultural research, and security cooperation. We'll give you more details during the course of the visit.